On.
Hey everybody, I am Potato Revan, and these are the assholes who I used to call my friends.
Hi.
Hello. There the other day, CSA, this prick beside me, he turned around and he said, "Hey, let's watch Star Wars Episode 9 because I have not seen it yet."
Fuck you. That's oh.
Boy, I can hear that bus that just hit him.
Oh
Yeah.
I will pay to fly to you just to bitch slap you.
Look, I fully admit
harder.
I did it because I was bored and had a fucking migraine and I wasn't thinking straight.
I saw it in theater. Shut up.
Hey, so did I, remember?
Yeah, so
Well,
did
yeah,
fucking
of course.
he.
And you remember how drunk I was when I got back? I was
You were
Jabba the
fucking
Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt, literally.
Hey there, Eve.
Hey, what's up?
But so let's open this crap up. So the movie begins about a year after Star Wars Episode 8. Sorry, just chew up. And so they turn around and they're like, "Oh, where is Rey?" Because everyone is fucking around because they can't do anything without the fucking titless wonder. So we're introduced to her like this. She's now the Avatar. Master of all four elements, period, whining, and flat-headedness.
She's the world's bitchiest Buddhist monk.
She absolutely is. Now, she has a lightsaber, because this is her minutes later training, okay?
Ugh.
And for some ungodly reason, she switches to that's a shillelagh.
You're like, what the fuck? That's the same stick she's had for fucking forever. What
No,
the fuck
it's
is she
not.
doing?
No,
No.
look at the end
Is
of
it? Let me look at the end of it. Okay, like,
That's
what
a
she doing?
shillelagh.
Pick that up off the ground?
Yeah, she picked up a fucking shillelagh.
She's supposed to be Jedi training. What the fuck is she doing with a stick?
That was when Kylo was getting into her head, and she kept getting hit by the little like training droid.
Yes.
So she drops the lightsaber and picks up the stick and impales the droid. She throws it at the droid like a fucking throwing spear and impales the droid up against. the
She's not a
screen.
fucking Amazon. It's not a fucking spear.
Leave it to an English woman to appropriate Irish culture again.
And she doesn't even use the stick right. It's a beating stick.
Christ.
Right?
Yeah, like Jesus Christ. So
The only
that's
time you would throw that shit is if you couldn't reach the motherfucker across the pub talking shit.
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
she's there and everyone's like fucking around. And for some ungodly reason, Kylo Ren can get into her head. And
Well, it's easy to get into her head because it's empty.
I know, I mean, there's a lot of room there and everything. So, now, here's the funny thing, people. Princess Leia is in this movie, and when she's in the bloody movie, she is old footage from Star Wars Episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in
Not
peace,
even-
Carrie.
Rest in peace, Carrie, you did not deserve this. And they decide, we're going to have her sad and everything. So she goes, she meets Chewie, and we see that R2-D2 and C-3PO come along, and they have to go and find a magical dagger.
Whoa. But remember what happened before this with the light speed skipping?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I got something for that. All right.
Go ahead.
please.
Have at it.
Can I have some?
Okay, so you guys remember, and correct me if I'm wrong. Also, a side note here: I see Kronos in the chat, and his avatar is that of Maximilian from Disney's The Black Hole.
Black
I
Hole.
saw that movie. Good nerd call on that one, my brother. Anyway, you remember how they had to compute the jump to light speed, or they had risked running into something.
Yeah, in fact, that comes up in the very first fucking Star Wars movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was like, we could literally just jump right into an asteroid field and die.
or jump right through a star, you know?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
Han Solo goes, it's not like dusting crops, boy.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's retarded because even within Star Wars itself, that should not be possible. Like, the light speed isn't just an on-off, it's a massive, massive power charge. And I'm quoting this from technical data from the canon itself, so eat me, Disney. The point is that it's got to have time to build up a big enough charge to create a disturbance where they can enter that dimension of hyperspace.
Yeah.
The problem is that it takes a little bit to do that while they warm it up, because that's a large discharge of energy. It's not just on, off, on, off, on, off. If they could have done that, they'd have done it years ago. And even George Lucas is like, no, that's retarded. I'm not.
Well, that's about as fucking retarded as the Holdo maneuver, which fucked
Oh
that
yes,
too.
which they actually done that.
No, the fair point is the Holdo maneuver is actually somewhat plausible, but this isn't.
Yeah, but it's no less
talked about running into stuff in hyperspace.
It literally looked like that they had turned hyperspace into a button that you're like forward hyperspace back out. Yay!
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Kind of like how it is with like warp drive, where you can just exit and enter warp at like will, like, you know. I mean,
well, actually, canonically, you can enter and exit at will. It's just the fact that they use the lanes to know where the fuck you're going, because otherwise they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very dangerous because unlike Star Trek, where the starship itself generates the warp field, in Star Wars they have to enter a lane of hyperspace.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and the ship has to know where that lane is, where it's going to take you, blah blah blah. It's got to.
That was why during the Clone Wars there was such a fucking battle over keeping some of the hyperspace lanes each side was using secret.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true. So they turned a hyperspace into basically an Adobe After Effect, really.
Well, and remember in episode 7 when Han's like, you know, because Finn asks, how are we going to get through their shield? And then Han says, well, they have a fractional refresh rate that basically we're going to exit light speed right as it resets and refreshes, so that way we get through their shield. So he's like, we're going to enter hyperspace over a planet's atmosphere. And he's like, yeah. And what happened? The Falcon nearly crashed. Mm-hmm. These motherfuckers did it twice. Flying.
Well, two of the times they pulled this light speed skip, they were already in the atmosphere of a planet. They skipped into the atmosphere.
Oh God!
And remember when they first enter hyperspace, when they're in that massive iceberg in space, they blow through an ice sheet. Why didn't they explode into a million pieces?
They should have.
They should have been
like cough.
They should have been
because it's plot armor.
That's sadly accurate.
It sucks, but he's right.
And this is the opening of the movie, people.
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
We're not even 10 minutes in.
Fighters with hyperdrives, get out.
Yeah, I mean, Feyen and Helvet. Oh God. Oh, all right. Let's just keep going.
So then we move on, and they get onto their. I can't remember most of this movie. They get onto their adventures, and as they're going along, they decide, oh, you know, we need to go to this planet to get this crystal. And, you know, a Wookiee, a black guy, and an SJW decide what's the best thing to go onto a planet wearing. Because they're totally not going to stand out.
A planet full of weird frog hippos.
Yeah, which, by the way, when their children laugh, it sounds like actual human children laughing.
Yeah,
not like snorts or burps or farts.
This is
especially
dumb considering that all the children look like little pigs.
Oh no, they look like, they're not like pigs. They look like, was it aardvarks? Like baby
but look at their noses. They gave them like pig faces.
Yeah, it's
just fucking weird.
I actually looked it up. They are actually a separate species to the weird other species with hentai faces.
Ah, jeez.
So it's two species there essentially.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, whatever. Go fuck
The
yourself.
other thing like made me laugh is like these motherfuckers are doing this big important ceremony, ritual, whatever thing, festival, and they have no problem with these 4 motherfuckers from Off-World just walking right through the middle of it while they're performing.
I know. I mean, if anything else,
literally, she walks through a band.
Yeah, and like the other 3 are like they're walking through the dancers performing.
I mean,
dude,
if nothing mind.
Yeah, like get the fuck out.
Seriously, I mean, because you got to assume these people, because I mean, they have speeder skiff, so you'd assume that they have some form of armed presence, protecting their population.
Oh man, don't put yourself in that position.
Oh no,
we all
I'm
know
not.
with Kennedy in charge of shit, they're always trying to push this whole utopian pacifist shit wherever they can sneak it in.
Yeah,
their explanation was probably that these
in the
motherfuckers
title.
didn't believe in violence or some bullshit like that.
yeah, and apparently a first order trooper, I guess, stumbles across them, which how they didn't notice them to begin with, because it's just one. It's not, you don't see a whole bunch
Well,
of
here's the
first
thing that
order
blows
troopers
my mind.
everywhere.
Like, you see that one trooper there, right? That inexplicably gets shot by a bow and arrow or by a crossbow that God only knows why somebody had one in this era.
I
But
know.
anyway, there's one dude there. But earlier, like before that, I think it was Finn mentions that there's first order patrols here all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, why? This is
Number two,
with a bunch of ignorant morons on it. So what are they even doing there?
Yeah.
If there were patrols here all the time, why is there one motherfucker on the festival grounds by himself?
Okay, so I don't know why, but here's the one thing I always gave credit to Rogue One about, that they made stormtroopers a fucking threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fight on the beachfront is pretty rough. They're
Well,
like motherfuckers dropping everywhere.
Like, they were using squad tactics and cover and communication, and you're like, oh, so this is how these fucking idiots conquered the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because they didn't used to be portrayed so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And, I don't know why they threw a really good aspect, because that movie did a couple of things I really hoped that we'd see more of, but I was wrong.
Yeah, we
Hoping for fucking idiots.
the few of us that saw it were like, oh, well, maybe this will be what we get going forward. Fucking no.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
I liked that about Rogue One, where the Empire was treated as a very almost an impenetrable threat, which I'm like, okay, that gets me invested. The villain was really good.
Yeah, Krennic had the right kind of ambition.
Yeah.
And it made sense for what he was.
Yeah.
Like the whole, and the CGI Moff Tarkin made me cringe, but
It wasn't terrible. It was kind of odd.
It was better than when they did with what we got with Leia at the end.
yes. And that's where I was kind of leading to. They had a lot of good ideas, but the things that weren't such a good idea carried over into the other movies, like CGI Princess Leia. It's like the human eye is really good at detecting fake things. Just look at tits. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, I mean, just because a woman gets breast implants doesn't mean you're not going to stop looking at
Travis,
them.
you remember, guys? You remember what happened? Speaking about that, you remember what we all started? We got so bored. What we all started to look for?
Oh, you mean that one point later in the movie where Max started laughing her ass off because Rey fell backwards and her fucking nipple was showing through her clothes? Yeah. And Max just starts fucking dying laughing.
Did she also make a comment later on when they're having the fight on the remnants of the Death Star and they're all wet, and she's like, maybe we'll get a wet t-shirt contest?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh god.
That's how bored we got with this bullshit like as we were going along.
Because they get found out, right? They get found out and they take off on these various different speeders, and they're
they stole 2 speeders rigged up as cargo vehicles,
and they're hauling ass. But then, for whatever reason, it cuts to a Knight of Ren, who had nothing to do with this, and yet there he is. It's like, okay, why do we care? He had nothing to do with what just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
and, It's like, oh, hey, Steve, didn't see you standing there.
What was stupid about that whole chase scene is they're using essentially kind of like a Star Wars version of a snowmobile, which about those.
Let me get to that desert speeder thing.
Because I got comments on that too, but you go first.
Like, they take off in these fucking things. These primitive ass motherfuckers got speeders rigged up to carry cargo. And you see some first order guys earlier. And you see guys on jetpacks before, 100% know the jetpacks if you haven't seen it before, but these guys in this advanced looking armor.
Yeah.
And then initially it looks like they're coming out on speeders, but then you look at them and they're fucking snowmobiles.
Yeah.
They're fucking snowmobiles with the Caterpillar drive mounted in the front with the ass end of a speeder on it with a guy sitting on the back. And the dumber part is, never mind that why, when speeder technology exists, even in planets that are broke as fuck, would you be using this Caterpillar drive vehicle, especially at high speeds, since Caterpillar tracks are well known to break or snap off or get tangled in shit.
Yeah.
Or they're easier to, shoot.
And then, on top of it, the stupid mechanism on this thing, you got jump troopers, and these are more like jet troopers than jump troopers, because jet troopers got the long distance. They don't just jump from place to place. But for whatever stupid reason, the ass end of this thing is designed to basically be a catapult to launch the motherfucker on the back with the jetpack into the air, as if he needed this.
And then Finn, okay, I my question about Finn is, he was a janitor. How the fuck does he know where everyone is posted?
Because every time when these movies came out, they would add more shit that characters just fucking magically knew with no fucking explanation.
Also, I mean, here's the thing: those like snowmobile like speeder things. I get it if you use those on a planet where you can't use repulsor lift vehicles. Mm-hmm. I get it if you're going to use those. But the Empire already had a proven speeder bike with the Empire that was very fast, very effective.
Yeah.
So why didn't they just make that into like a next gen version of that and use those?
That aside, in one of the earlier movies, they had those big, like, almost Humvee looking speeders that were really fast already. Why would you need these things?
You would expect maybe if I was doing it, I would have come up with something terrifying. Like, you see something that's never flown before, like maybe an AT-AT or something like that, and it's just lying on the ground, and they're like, "Hey guys, there's a walker." Ooh, they go right past it. They're like, "Okay, good." It's no next thing. All you see is and then you hear they're like, "It's flying now." Of course, it flies now as it's coming after.
And that really pissed me off. By the way, they fly now? Yes, motherfucker. Because there's always been jetpacks.
I mean, because they repeat it. They're like, "They fly now?
Yeah.
They fly now?
Like, this
they
is
fly
not
now."
funny. You three of you motherfuckers say this, and you're just driving home just how stupid this scene really is every time you say it.
Somebody thought that was really fucking funny because it was in every single goddamn advertisement.
And it's like, bitch, there were dedicated troops in the Clone Wars that had fucking jetpacks, entire squads of these motherfuckers.
That was
and
even
Imperial
in the first
jump
episode.
troops existed during the Empire, dickhead.
I mean, it was so stupid. I'm like,
everybody that I knew was making fun of that fucking trailer just because of that.
Oh God! Oh, I actually told Favre like during it. I'm like, "Hey Favre, knock knock." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "They fly now." He's like, "Go fuck yourself."
Pretty fucking much.
They fly. Fuck you.
Yeah. But the thing is, she falls into basically a Harry Potter thing, a Harry Potter pit. She gets
you mean the oh so convenient like slow fucking drag quicksand?
Yes, that's
the fact that their speeders that's what made me laugh. Like, there's this moment where they let the jet troopers be competent because one of them with that little mortar launcher, his nails both of their fucking speeders and launches their asses into the sand.
Yeah,
and then promptly gets wiped out in the dumbest fucking way possible. But they're sitting there on this fucking sand for like 5 minutes, and then suddenly, after the jump trooper gets taken out, they start to sink.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point, if Rey is so strong in the Force, why is she still using a blaster pistol? The only reason why Luke had one in Empire Strikes Back is because he wasn't proficient enough with his lightsaber to properly deflect bolts back. That's the only reason why he had a pistol.
Because much like everything else in this fucking movie, they had to get that little call back in. Well, Han gave her that blaster, so she should use it.
But she's a bloody Jedi,
and
meant to be a powerful one. Why should she use it?
But do you think they cared beyond like, oh, that'd be cool if she shot a fucking stormtrooper out of the sky? You know, that's all the thought that went into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and even then, it's a blaster pistol, which aren't meant to be used at that range. Even a rifle would have a little bit of an issue.
Han Solo would have blinked at that shot.
Well, it's Han. I mean, he's
I would
dead.
say the blaster pistol isn't so much as a stretch.
No, it's really not.
I don't think that's that big of a stretch, to be honest with you.
Because there were clone troopers that could do shit like that.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Things, just not this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then so they get down into this convenient cavern, and Rey ignites her lightsaber, and then Finn takes out again, and this is where they make a stupid, like, trying to gaff funny moment. Not Finn, it was Poe. Poe takes out like a flashlight and turns it on, and he looks at her like, okay, and then they just stare at each other for like 10 seconds awkwardly, and then they just turn around, and then Poe makes like a gesture, like, oh well, why did I even bother taking this out kind of motion.
Yeah,
and then they find
like these moments where they think they're making a joke and it's just nothing.
Yeah. No. And then we had to get another Force stupid moment just in a few minutes.
I think it also speaks to the very troubled nature of the production. Just it
you mean the fact that this feels like about 7 movies thrown together?
Yeah, I said that. I mean,
it's got after I got back, I think I called it plot hyperactivity.
Yeah.
Because
plot ADD.
It would not focus on anything too long. It would not elaborate on a point. It would be like, okay, done, moving on. And I think a lot of this pacing is got to come down to the production, because this looks like a production.
Well, it was. Remember, they were filming all the way up until the beginning of December. The first trailer.
According to Matt G, they're still filming it
now. They probably are.
I remember back in early November, they did 3 test screenings. They did the Kennedy version, the Lucas version, and a hybrid Kennedy and the head of Disney. I can't remember his name. I'm blank. Iger. It was an Iger Kennedy mixture version, and the only one to score decent enough with the audiences, like in the 70 percentile, was the Lucas version, and that was in early November, and they still were going back to do reshoots and CGI editing after that. The first trailer didn't debut until the first week of December, less than a month before the movie came out.
I mean,
the first actual trailer.
I would say, sorry, go ahead.
Sure.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I think, to be honest with you, when you look at how much problems they had behind the scenes, unfortunately, the film greatly suffered for it.
Oh, God.
Because they were on such damage control that I don't think they were going to make a good movie even if they had more time. It seemed like they were trying to do so much damage control that I don't think they could make it work. I feel like I don't blame the production staff. I blame the decision makers.
Yeah.
The production staff got their asses handed to them.
They really did, and it shows in so many parts of this movie where you could tell that the effects at times weren't anything special. Like, we're talking episode 7 level effects.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't anything like mind-blowing when you saw it. You're like, okay, this is the same quality we've gotten for the past however many fucking years, like 5 years.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it me, or does it seem like the universe's technology has slowed down or even gotten dumber?
They can't seem to make up their mind.
Yeah, they can't make up their mind, yeah.
CSA, you watched The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it seem that in parts of The Mandalorian's more advanced than this trilogy?
In some ways, I would say there's certain things that show a level of advancement.
You're dealing with two entirely different writing teams.
Yeah, because
that's going to be your big problem there.
Because Favreau is a huge fan of Star Wars, and love or hate The Mandalorian, he tried to keep a certain level of continuity in terms of technology and feel and look that carried on from the original trilogy. He tried to stay more to how Star Wars is supposed to look, rather because in 30 years, everything. I mean, again, go from the Clone Wars to the Empire, and there was you could tell advancements in terms of ships and certain technologies. You could tell that within that time frame in between the end of the prequels to the originals, there was a certain level of technological advancement.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't see that from the original to this Disney trilogy. I don't see, aside from, we have a bigger Death Star and we have a massive ass Star Destroyer. Motherfuckers, they had the Super Star Destroyers already, which were, you parked that in the system and people were pissing their pants for a year.
Yeah.
You didn't need a 15 kilometer, I think it was like 15, 18 kilometer wide Star Destroyer.
Well, in the expanded universe,
17.5.
Yeah. In the expanded universe, there was a point where Isan Isard from Imperial Intelligence, they had in a series of caverns they had built a super Star Destroyer like on a planet underground. Mm-hmm. And when she decided to mobilize it, it destroyed a good chunk of the planet.
I remember hearing something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. When she mobilized that thing and left, she took out a big chunk of the planet leaving.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even the sight of a standard Imperial Star Destroyer made systems piss their pants. Why do you need it comes down to this where they cannot decide what they want to do. Each movie is a self-contained movie with loose threads that tie to each one.
It's the same problem as The Legend of Korra.
I got 3 episodes into that and was bored.
No. I'm just talking. Farva understands what I'm talking about. Basically, The Legend of Korra was told you're getting 1 season, then it's told you're only getting 2 seasons, then it's told you're only getting 3 seasons, then it's told you're getting 4. Halfway through 4, it's like, hey guys, you're being cancelled early. So wrap up. So they
bad management can entirely fuck the entire continuity of something.
Yeah,
and very easily so.
And again, a few minutes after they enter the cavern, they find the dagger, which you find out later just happens to be the exact same pattern as part of the Death Star
that is so much dumber.
Yes, that dagger, which looks
we're
like
not there yet.
Yeah,
we're not there yet. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying how they introduce something with no level of explanation.
Oh, we're gonna get to that once we get to the exposition of Rey's bullshit.
On the desert planet, we discovered that Rey has a new power. People,
fuck it, bourbon, save me.
Yeah, because they had to make Rey because they needed to make Rey Jedi Jesus.
Rey can now hand people things through the Force, and Kylo Ren grabs anal beads from her.
This bitch can just literally lay on hands and fucking heal people. It's total fucking bullshit. Nobody's ever fucking done that.
God damn it, get your D&D out of my Star Wars.
Her and Kylo Ren proceeds to have a fight through the Force and do this.
But there's a lot that happens.
Yet.
There's still shit that happens before that.
We're still in the cave, man. Where she heals the stupid fucking cave worm that for whatever reason doesn't eat her ass alive like it did the last guy that was here.
So in the cave, they find this big, huge centipede creature, and it's got cuts on it. From what? I don't know, because there's not a big enough creature around.
The last thing in there apparently was Darth Uchi.
Yeah.
Which, if he cut that thing, then those wounds should have sealed back up by now. He's been dead for a fucking while.
Yeah.
He was a skeleton, and that thing was covered in spider's webs. I mean...
Yeah.
And they turned around, and she can heal. It's like, just a little bit of life energy. It's like, life energy? Bitch, you gave up years of your life for this.
You just transferred your own life force into this thing that was going to eat you.
Yeah, congratulations, you're a moron. And then it basically...
Oh, God. That's when she finds that fucking bullshit dagger conveniently next to the dead, the skeletal corpse of the motherfucker that allegedly had it last in this cave. This cave, which, by the way, was underneath a fucking sea of quicksand, yet did not fill with sand magically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then so they finally get out of there. They get to this ship, which they have to patchwork repair on the fly just to get it to even fly. And Rey sends his Kylo all of a sudden, and she stands out there, and he's in his. By the way, I hate how they gave him like a modified TIE interceptor.
Yeah.
They should have kept the ship from The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
that
they
was
should.
a bitchin' looking ship.
Oh, and by the way, there's that whole thing before they did that where she like has the rest of them go and like deal with the ship while she walks off by herself like a fucking moron.
Mm-hmm.
And then promptly gets Chewie fucking kidnapped by the Knights of fucking Ren.
Way to go. Leave it to the English woman to ruin everything. So, okay, I want to make a point about this because it.
Point of personal privilege.
Shut up.
Fuck.
I'm going to throw this whiskey glass at you, I swear. Anyway. Okay, so it's not that I hate the new designs. That's not entirely true. Some of them I actually really like, and it's the same way with Star Trek. Some of the starship designs, like I like the Walker class. I will
say, I liked, for some examples, I liked what they did with the AT-STs for as briefly as we saw one with that updated design.
Yeah.
I liked the Flame Troopers for how little we saw them.
I liked how they had they had someone who was a specialist who was designed to use against lightsaber wielders.
Yeah. The guy with the shield, yeah. And then I liked the jump troopers for as stupid as the scene was that they had on that desert planet.
Yeah,
in terms of designs.
I even like the new AT-ATs. Well, they were nicknamed Gorilla Walkers.
Oh yeah, the gorilla things
because they were like heavier, beefier AT-ATs, but they had a turbo laser in addition to their cannons, which I'm like, again, that's where you improve and upgrade an already proven design. That makes sense. It's again, they can't decide what they want to do.
But then there was other things that made no sense, like the fact that every TIE fighter was just a standard TIE fighter. There was no longer any distinction.
No, there were actually two kinds. There was the TIE SF, which was Special Forces. That was the one in The Force Awakens that had the turret. That was a specialty.
But that's
TIE
what I'm saying.
fighter.
Like, it was just a TIE fighter with a little itty bitty turret on it. Otherwise, they were just standard TIEs.
Yeah,
there was no real variation in design, which was stupid.
But I like the color of it.
Well, it showed a forward thinking of the kind of fighting they were expecting to do. That's fine, but what really sucks is that some of these great ideas and great design updates were wasted by crap writing.
Over and over again.
And again, I think if Star Trek Discovery, if they were honest about it and said this is just the next generation of Kelvin timeline, I'd have just sat back and said, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I still would have hated it.
Maybe. I mean, some of the overly political nature of the writing would probably still rub me the wrong way.
Yeah.
I know you can't save Discovery, but the point I'm making is I'm willing to argue some of the technical designs I'm okay with.
Maybe.
And there are things that I like. But when you watch the film as a story, I can't. Like, it's very difficult for me to say I like that. But
I will very, very quickly say that of all three of these movies.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Make me happy.
Well, there were things I liked in these movies. Like, I actually did like Captain Phasma, but they wrote all her shit terribly and wasted that actress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Can I do a tirade about Captain Phasma?
Of course.
Please do, because I have many times in the past.
Yes, go for it.
Captain Phasma, they dropped the ball. Here's what you have with Captain Phasma. I don't care that it's a woman. And the actress, I think, got shafted unfairly, by the way.
Very
Gwendolyn
much.
Christie got fucked, man.
And here's what you do. You make – and they wasted Finn because here's a dynamic you could have made. Finn was her protege. He was the future of the Stormtrooper Corps. And him and Phasma have this deep-seated history. And you make it – like when Finn first defects – he's kind of on his own because he's not used to being on his own. Like, he always had backup. He always had Phasma to turn to. It's like, well, what do we do, Captain? And she's like, do this, this, and this. And then Finn starts becoming into his own as an expert rebel commando. And it becomes this battle of wits and attrition between him and Phasma, who have these really tense face downs. And Phasma just so happens to usually get the better of him because she just has that much more experience. And it should have ended where they finally have it. Just Finn and Phasma have this knockdown, drag them out, nasty, dirty fight.
And that should have been saved for the last movie.
It should have, yeah.
Where the part, and I like the part where it showed her helmet cracked, and they finally have this moment to talk to each other, not as merciless soldiers, but as human beings. Like Captain Phasma would have been right there next to Darth Vader if they would have just made her a scary killing machine.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen third-party media that explains why she has that staff, where she came from, how capable
even
she
her
really
armor.
was. It's like if you'd used any of that, like the fact, her armor, shit should have been just bouncing off of that.
She was I loved her design.
Yeah. Which the reason why her armor was chrome is because that was that special chrome
it was from
metal.
Palpatine's yacht.
No, it's from Naboo.
Palpatine's yacht, dude.
Yeah, that's the other shit from Naboo is Palpatine's yacht.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean,
the whole point of that was supposed to be that blasters wouldn't do shit to her.
Yeah, if that metal is from Naboo, does that mean that Naboo's metal is the strongest of Mandalorians, or else they're
no, it's because it doesn't work on lightsabers. It's meant to deflect blaster bolts.
Yeah. I mean, because you see, because her helmet was made of the same material, and you saw what Finn did.
And when he hit her with that bullshit weird axe, it broke the visor open.
No, it wasn't that. It was the it was that staff like weapon from Force Awakens.
Okay.
That's
that's right. He had the riot staff thing.
Yeah. Which, I mean, and then
they should they portrayed her all wrong. She should have been this steely, cold, cruel commander.
And if you read the comic about her, which I did, that's exactly what she was supposed to be.
Like, she just walks up and you're like, oh, shit. Because they should have had it where if Captain Phasma was on screen, the audience should have been like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And if they'd done it like her backstory suggested, it would have been. Because she was a survival at all costs type of person.
Yeah. Again, if that actress, she should honestly sue Disney for screwing. Because I looked at Captain Phasma like, ooh, this could be cool. I kind of fell apart with Darth Vader, and I'm like, yeah, you're a wannabe. But where Darth Vader was, or not Darth Vader, God, what was it? Kylo Ren. I'm
Kylo Ren.
Shut up.
I'm not a wannabe. I am a successful potato. Excuse you.
Yeah, okay, potato head. I'm sorry. Okay, Kylo Ren. You know what would have been a great offset to Kylo Ren is Captain Phasma being the competent, scary, and all around just lethal one.
Yeah.
Where he's the petulant child, but she is the scary, evil commander.
And they were really bad with continuity because in the first movie, they portrayed Hux as this really ruthless motherfucker who was commanding the First Order and just getting shit done.
Yeah.
And then Hux just becomes a joke the second movie all the way through.
And then the third one, he's even more of a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, they just the way he ends up in it, it's just fucking pathetic. It's like, he goes through the whole thing, boom, anywho, moving on.
Yeah. And it's like in the first movie, this was a dude who was literally looking Kylo Ren in the face and going, "Don't forget your place."
Yeah. I mean, and then, let's not forget that when Rey finds Chewie being taken, she force grabs it, and then Kylo does the same thing, which they both. So when they're doing this, they both look like they're trying to force the most massive shit out of them. Like they're cringing, they're breathing deeply. They're like, it'd be the kind of thing where if you heard that in the stall, you'd be like, dude, you're gonna get a hernia, man. Calm down. Like it's like that. And then what does she do magically? Force lightning, which destroys a troop carrier. And as I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, force lightning against like ships didn't do much.
No, not really.
The thing is,
not unless you hit something really important.
Right? Yeah.
Like when did she get Force lightning? Because you're meant to have.
Here's the thing: she never had it. The way they tried to sell this is that she was freaked out, so she was so emotional about this that she just did it by accident.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you can't. You
can't. And in fact, if you watch that shit from the Clone Wars, where Count Dooku was trying to fucking train his apprentice, he was beating his ass, and that motherfucker still couldn't produce Force lightning.
He couldn't.
Yeah, he couldn't.
Yeah, and then Palpatine basically said, "Well, you need to get to shock them because you need to experience it yourself and get it, bring it within you." And command it.
It's like no matter how much he beat that motherfucker and like use the lightning on him, he could never manage it. And then Rey just somehow accidentally does it. No, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and then oh god, where do they go next? I fucking forget.
Well, she went up after him. Remember, she fucking jumped after him in the ship.
Yeah, and that's
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so she goes up into space to talk to him, like basically to save Chewie, because she realizes that Chewie's safe. No. To go to the planet where we.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Favre, first thought when you saw the Knights of Ren ship, what did you say?
Oh, well, there was all this smoke and bullshit coming out of it, and I was like, this motherfucker's falling apart. You're like, how would this thing be spewing diesel smoke and shit? I was like, well, it looks like the fucking Reaver ship from Firefly.
It actually does. If it only appears once on screen.
Yeah.
On the screen
It's
and
a powered starship. The rolling coal like redneck.
Shovel faster. We need to go into light speed. I'm shoveling as fast as I can.
And their shit is so haphazardly put together. The Knights of Ren. Like I pointed out that one of them's wearing a fucking a Russian Moscow 1 helmet with a bunch of shit bolted.
Yeah, but guys, for those of you in the audience who've ever played Destiny, I'm just saying, this is a warlock.
He's not wrong. He is not wrong.
Right. They did that actress wrong.
Oh, they did her so wrong.
Like, it was a cool idea to have this shady character from Poe's past, but God, that was a waste.
I mean, she's a beautiful.
She is.
She's a hot. I'm not so beautiful. She's hot. She's
not as beautiful as me. Just saying.
Dude, keep it up, and I will turn you into mashed potatoes and eat you with barbecue chicken.
Cannibalism, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd like to anyone in the audience with a phone to call for help.
But I mean, and that's the thing is that when they show her, by the way, I loved that blaster pistol she had.
Oh, that flintlock looking blaster pistol was
God,
really nice.
That was beautiful. But and this is where because here's all we knew with Poe up until this point was that he was a pilot in the New Republic, and then once he realized the threat of the First Order rising, he left them and became their commanding pilot of the Resistance. That's all we knew about him. He was like a hotshot pilot.
You know what's one of the worst things about Poe, and to no fault of Oscar Isaac's, is that they could not, for the life of them, figure out what the fuck they wanted to do with him.
Yeah.
Because in the first movie, he was supposed to actually die in that TIE fighter crash.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, we should bring him back. So they had that scene later where he just shows up with no explanation. And Finn doesn't think to ask, for whatever reason, how he survived that TIE fighter crash when he couldn't find him.
Or how he got to the Resistance.
Yeah, how he found the Resistance. And then he's their best pilot they've got, but then in the stupid-ass, Last Jedi, he's a fuck-up, and he's got problems with authority, and it's this and that, and it's him fighting with Leia and Holdo.
Actually,
and then in the third movie, we're suddenly talking about all his shady background, which was never mentioned before.
Which I think it was Critical Drinker. I can't remember. I want to say it was Critical Drinker. He actually looked over that whole thing with Poe in The Last Jedi. And if you watch him, they depict him as having problems with authority. But if you actually watch the scenes, he's like, what's our plan? We need a plan. Like, he's actually acting like a competent commander.
Yeah, he is. He's like, well, what do we do? What's our next move? And she's like, well, I don't need to tell you that.
So back on the planet.
Yeah.
To get back to the topic about this crap. So back on the planet, we discovered that Rey, not only can she talk to him, but she has special powers because he touches her. Yeah, I said that. So he touches her, and he's like, she's on my ship. She's in my room. And he's like, stay here. I'm going to my ship. Oh, there's a girl in my room. Oh my God, I'm going to tell my mother. Dear diary, today I had a girl in my room. It was wonderful. So they go
Made sweet love next to the burnt up helmet of my grandfather.
Dude, hey Ray, would you like to see my toys? They're over here. And this is the burnt helmet of my grandfather that my uncle pulled off of his dead body. Isn't it cool?
You like Darth Vader? Please say you like Darth Vader.
I got all his action figures.
Oh, wait, you don't like Darth Vader? I have to friend zone you now. I gotta friend zone you. You don't like Vader.
No, it's like, do you like Darth Vader? No. Fuck you then.
He just force lightnings her out the window.
Guys, canonically, they have officially obliterated the Darth Vader helmet.
Yeah, that's true. And then what's even stupider is they have a lightsaber battle through the Force.
Oh God!
Like,
I feel like every scene in this movie that involved the Force just needed to be cut with Han Solo going, "That's not how the Force works."
No, but guys, do you
I would
realize
pay money to see a movie of somebody doing that with the entire trilogy. I would pay to see that trilogy.
Guys, I just realized something. So nobody else can see him talking to her, correct? Through the Force?
That we know of.
We don't know, but assumably.
But yeah, so that means that they just see him talking to himself and swinging his lightsaber around like a fucking lunatic.
But the guy's been proven to be a basket case already. How would it be any fucking different, really?
Are we sure he's not bipolar?
Maybe.
Because remember, this is the dude that was breaking shit, and he was like lightsabering shit on his own ship when he had a fit. It wouldn't even look that different.
They'd be like, uh-oh.
He's
Everyone
having a fucking fit again.
It'd be like that scene in Force Awakens when he loses his shit and he's just hacking everything up and you see bits flying and the two stormtroopers, they turn around and just
walk out. Yeah.
They'd be like, okay, guys, he's having his moment. Just take 10 steps back.
Just walk, just leave him, just let him pull down. We'll give him a juice box and his nap later on. He'll sleep tonight.
And if he's really upset, give him goldfish crackers.
Gotta go fishing. I can eat them every day, and my mom says that's okay.
Oh wow. God!
But,
I haven't heard that in forever.
So afterwards, she gets this fucking pyramid crystal from him and goes back to Luke's planet because the thing is, how far away are we from anything? Where are we in the galaxy?
There is no sense of scale in these fucking movies.
Yeah, there isn't.
The galaxy seems so fucking small. It's like all these planets are just in like one generalized area.
And this entire pointed this out. This entire movie takes place over the course of about 17 hours.
And I said this, not even 24 is that bold, because 24 takes place over 24 hours because it's like a crisis critical moment, and it's all normally isolated to like a large city like New York or LA, which in theory you could do a show based on a 24-hour crisis based in a large city. It's very plausible.
But that was at the forefront.
Yeah, it was at the so you're talking a galaxy-wide movie based around a 16-hour time frame.
Yeah. So when she's on the planet, she throws the lightsaber away because she's like, "No, fuck this! I'm done with this." Right. Well, that's pretty much the script. I've seen the script. The script literally says Daisy really. Right. So she's there and she throws it, and then out of the fire. Luke Skywalker.
It was fire and the flames.
All I could think about, because I asked, how did the TIE fighter get on fire? And Potato Ribbon's like, I don't know, maybe she used force lightning. And then all I could think about was from
lightning bolt.
No. From fucking the Family Guy when Lois's dad is the Emperor and he's like, lightning, more lightning. Yay! That's all I could think about. She's like, lightning here, behind the back, under the legs, lightning.
When you say it like that, you sound like Adam West.
She goes off somewhere after she gets the lightsaber back, and it's like Luke Skywalker's like, "Hey, I'm Luke Skywalker. You do you, bitch." And she's like, "I'm a Jedi now." So she then leaves in Luke Skywalker's ship, and it's the funniest thing. And because I was there, and I'm laughing, and it's like we're getting a message. It's Skywalker ship, and I'm like, oh
no, you can't gloss over that. Two things in that scene on the island. A, that was the Luke Skywalker we deserved in The Last Jedi, where he's an actual fucking mentor. Yeah. And B, he lifts up the X-wing, which is total bullshit. But
yes, it is.
Dismissing that, you have an X-wing that is about 20 years old, potentially.
30,
okay,
at least 30.
No, because he wasn't on that island the whole time. He only went there.
No. But remember, the X-wings were already 10 to 15 years old back when he had it.
Right. So, no, I'm saying how long it was underwater. Just
that
underwater.
would have been waterlogged for probably a good 10 years.
So for those of you at home, there's a very important distinction about things that have been underwater. They do not work very well.
No.
And you don't know if this is fresh or salt water.
Yeah, and then so he lifts it up, and so he lifts it up, and he puts it down. He pulls a Yoda moment. Okay, all right, whatever. Here's the thing: the ship's is waterlogged, so most of the components probably don't work. Okay, so you got to get the thing doing. Next, you need fuel. What has Luke been having, like a still in the back? Like, yeah, I brewed this. This is homemade fuel, man. It's premium shit. Like,
dude, it's time to drink again. Hooray!
So she ends up getting through all the fucking bullshit that she has to go through. She ends up getting the dagger, and the dagger that she's pointing to is like, where are we looking?
Okay, continuity thing, by the way.
Yeah.
She goes to the island after the whole Death Star part, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're kind of skipping around a little bit just for continuity reasons.
Well, the plot skips around.
The plot,
I know.
The plot is light speed skipping.
Yeah. And oh god, that dagger. Oh, and then how about the people on the alien horseback?
We'll get to them.
Let's get to that. I'm going to have a little come apart when we get to the part with the fucking horses.
Okay.
Kronos asked about saltwater. Saltwater, what it does to metal is over time, it turns it into like a powder because it rusts it and breaks it down to the chemical compounds of what it's made of.
Yeah.
It's like sandblasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like to sandblast my ass. Anyway,
I hope not.
Whatever helps you at night.
Don't king shame me. Anyway, so then then she goes in and she's looking for this crystal thing. Now she's on the Death Star. The Death Star has exploded and fallen from space. How is this even a thing?
Yeah, and something that was brought up during our viewing of this movie is that, remember, that explosion was so massive, you could see it clearly planet side, like it was just a massive firework going off in the sky, okay? Why is there it's that there should be tiny little bits, maybe the size of a school bus, maybe, or something like that.
The leather on the chair even survived.
The chair, which it would have been funny if Kylo had sat in the chair and he's like, "This feels comfy."
May I do a bit?
Oh, of course.
Remember the Emperor? Do you like the Emperor? Please remember the Emperor.
No. Ray walks out, and all you hear is you just hear his boots across the floor as he's turning the chair around himself.
Like someone, I feel like one of those like those MMA girls come out and she's holding a sign that says "Please remember."
Jeff Bush in the Star Wars outfit comes out. Please remember the Emperor.
Oh God!
That clip will never get old.
Therapy in the world to make this movie not hurt me.
And then what's stupider is when she finds this crystal, she goes in there and it's kind of like a mirrored room. And then she sees like a dark side version, like an alternate version of herself.
Hold on. Yes, so she sees an alternate version of herself with a double-sided light.
Have you been fucking drinking? This fucking thing, man, I swear. And the way the stupid fucking thing unfolds, it looks like it should do that.
Which, by the way, the only time we ever saw a saber like that where it was folded in half was in the Clone Wars, and it was that one Jedi, because he was so massive, that's how he wielded his lightsaber. It was folded in half. He's the only time we've ever seen that, and it made sense for him.
Because he was huge.
He was massive.
I'm huge.
Dude, I've spoken to your ex. 2 inches is not massive. Just saying.
Ooh.
So, okay.
You would know.
Oh.
So we have this confrontation that is supposed to reminisce us about the forest cave confrontation between Luke and his possible dark future. But you're just looking at this going, I don't care. I genuinely don't.
How could you, you know? There's no build-up.
Well, that actually made sense in that scene with Luke, though.
Do you remember some of the articles that when this came out talking about that scene, that this was supposed to indicate that it's the Hall of Mirrors? You remember that?
Yeah.
I remember that.
So the Hall of Mirrors is always been something that has been alluded to in Star Wars lore as this place that Jedi, or was it Sith or Jedi, used to go.
It was Sith, I think.
Would go to see the future, but here's the catch on that it's possible futures, and you would go into this giant hall of mirrors, and eventually you would have in your heart what you want to know. And eventually one of the mirrors you would find would show you what you wanted to see. But then you would go to another mirror and show the disastrous, like your dream coming to a nightmare. Yeah. But it's the Hall of Mirrors was like this vague, very. It was like, okay, the Sith can kind of see the future. They could see all possible futures, but nothing concrete. Yeah. And I don't know why they did the Hall of Mirrors instead of like just this black empty room.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly, the way I would have had that scene is I would have like Rey walk in there and she's looking around, and then you see someone sitting down and the light shines up and she's on a throne, dressed all in black with like Sith armor on her, and she opens her eyes with like copper eyes and she's like, "Hello, little one." And it goes, "Who are you?" It goes, "I am a you." What? It's like, I am a version of you that can come if you embrace the dark side. I am the Empress. And then Rey looks out the window and you see like Chewbacca's head on a spike.
Yeah.
And you see, and she goes, "Isn't my power wonderful?" She goes, "My friends are dead." What are friends?
Yeah, like that was kind of that was the thing about the Hall of Mirrors. It would show you what you wanted to see and what you didn't want to see. It was neither malevolent or benevolent.
Yeah.
And then we get probably one of the most ridiculous lightsaber fights ever, with tsunamis raining down on you.
Hold on.
Yep,
there it is. Oh,
which, by the way, this is the first time we actually see Kylo as a badass in lightsaber combat. I was complaining
about this while we were watching. I was like, why is this the first and only time we see Kylo Ren, who is a trained fucking master, beating this half-trained motherfucker's ass all over the place?
Because they were backtracking. Basic reason.
Did you miss the funniest thing from this thing? Where he was walking along with all these giant waves, screaming Rey, as if she could fucking hear him.
He does it for half the fucking fight.
He does it.
I know.
He
They have
does it
him
through the
do that
movies.
I would say he does it through half of the fucking entirety of the trilogy.
Somebody actually made a compilation, by the way, of all the times he screams Ray. Somebody
Like, running
actually
along
made
yelling
that.
at
So, also, Kronos makes a good point. Episode 1 had the best lightsaber fight at the end of the movie. He's right.
Oh, it did. Absolutely.
It did.
Actually, do you know why it's called Duel of the Fates?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Why?
you know? Because it's deciding Anakin's fate. Is he going to grow up light side or dark side?
It's and you know that lightsaber fight had more tension and importance than any of the lightsaber fights in the new trilogy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, all the lightsaber fights in the prequels had weight. Even when Anakin is going up against Dooku, you're seeing Anakin's a skilled lightsaber duelist. You're seeing that. But at the end of the day, he is still no match for a properly trained Sith Lord.
Well, and even the Anakin versus Kenobi fight had so much more weight to it.
Yep.
Oh,
It
that
meant
fight was
so
I'd argue
much
that's one of the
more.
best, even.
Speaking, I know
both
that
of them-
he. Sorry,
Go ahead.
I'm just speaking about like Sith Lords. The scene I really like from Rebels. CSA, you'll I'm sure you'll like this. Is throughout Rebels, Ezra and Kanan had been whooping the Inquisitor's asses. They could stand nearly toe to toe with them. They could fight and get away. But then once they introduced Darth Vader, they got humiliated. And Ezra was like, "What the hell is that?" And Kanan is shook, and he's like, "That's a Sith Lord."
A friend of mine showed me several of the episodes of Rebels, and I actually kind of liked it. How Ezra is this really shitty kid who does shitty things, and I'm like, huh, you don't see that kind of thing very often.
Yeah, he's like a Jedi, but he's not like full blown. He's a force side he's a light side user, but he's not bright light. He's like darker light, kind of.
Well,
if that makes sense, or dimmer or whatever.
CSA, don't forget, they've indicated throughout Rebels that he was drawn to the dark side. Look at how easy he went over with Maul. He was technically Maul's apprentice for like an episode or two.
I need to sit down and watch that whole series, but is it sad that those animated shows drew me in more than mainstream movies?
I could have watched Rebels, but man, the Clone Wars, hell, I own that whole thing.
Yeah. Well, except for season 7, there's a few people.
Yes, Revan. What can I do for you, man?
Thank you, drunk man. You drink. He is drinking the body of my cousins.
No, that would be vodka.
The bourbon. Yes, feed me, Irishman.
No, what I'm saying is one of the times, if you want, me and CSA, we could stream it with you because Maxis wants to watch Rebels.
I do. I really want to watch Rebels. So that would be fantastic if you could do that because
Rebels. Actually, I'll talk to you about something afterwards that might actually help you.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, moving on. So we now learn that let's just skip forward. The two of them are in a fight, and we learn that they can hand the lightsaber to each other because at this point we've seen CGI Leia and seen her lightsaber, which is basically just an unpainted prop of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber.
Pretty much, yeah. It's almost identical.
And that's when we see Ben Kenobi, when she hands him his lightsaber to kill the Knights of Ren. And this pissed me off because we got to see how fucking skilled he actually is.
And yet, where was that skill when he needed it?
Yeah. But so right at this point is when they find out. So by the way, when they show the beginning, the Star Destroyers, which those, by the way, are Mark 1s, I think they're called. Yes. Mark 1. So that's the first generation Star Destroyer that the Empire used early on after the Venator. And so why is the Emperor using older Star Destroyers when if he's been pulling the strings and creating Snoke's, why doesn't he have like this is where you could have come up with an entirely new Star Destroyer design.
The answer for that.
Can I make a point about the Sith Empire thing?
Mm-hmm.
Wasted. Completely.
Oh,
okay.
totally wasted.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
now, in answer to before you get started, in answer to the fucking Star Destroyer thing, the sad fact is that continuity and creativity considerations are dead in Lucasfilm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. First off, I'm gonna have a drink of bourbon because this is gonna be painful. Excuse me. Look out, stomach. Here it comes.
Over the lips, straight it comes. Watch your stomach. Here it comes.
Amen, brother. Okay. All right. So, the Sith Empire, anyone who has ever had the opportunity or the sheer insanity to play Star Wars: The Old Republic, the Sith Empire is who you work for. Now, if you're an Empire player, you play several different character types that...
Well, aside from the actual Force users, there's the Imperial Agent, which I played the fuck out of because...
I love the Imperial Agent. He is such a badass.
I love doing a sniper thing. I made this evil-ass woman, which was hilarious because a lot of the Sith were hitting on her.
Okay, so...
And then I had a bounty hunter.
The Sith Empire was actually a thing. Like, the Sith Empire was very dangerous, very powerful, and during the Old Republic was a constant thorn in their side.
Mm-hmm.
But when we see the idea they had was, okay, we're going to do the Sith Empire resurgent. Okay, that's a great idea because the Sith Empire was totally fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about a genocidal regime, look at the Sith Empire. They did not give a fuck. If you had to die, you had to die.
Yeah.
So...
I remember that in one of my playthroughs that we had to kill a Sith, and he started laughing at his own death.
Yes. So the idea is that the Sith Empire is going to resurge, and that is a very strong place to start from.
Yeah.
But what those idiots did in the writing room is treat the Sith Empire as the Empire 2.0. They had the technology and they had the colors of the Sith Empire, but they did not have the intimidation, nor did they have that power of authority, because that was the big plot in the Old Republic is the Sith Empire was a position of authority. If you were an Imperial intelligence dude, people would shit their pants.
You know what?
There were many times where I come in and it was just a common decision when you got done questioning somebody, would always give you the option to just fucking kill them when you were finished.
Yeah.
You know what would have been a good scene, a good terrifying scene? Like, you see Palpatine and he's there and he's talking and Rey's bitching on about Vader and he goes, Vader, Anakin failed me. The rule of two was broken. I was misseen. I did not see, but now. Yeah.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and then
Palpatine's like, the rule of two is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, I was killed by my apprentice. If I had I was thinking, if I had more, I would not have been sent here. I have many. And the camera pans around and you just see an army standing there, all of them with red lightsaber, and he goes, welcome to the Sith Empire.
That would have been like, I would have got a boner if that was the case.
I fuck boner. I probably would have had to clean myself up.
You know what would have been even better is if they had not just a bunch of motherfuckers with lightsabers, because then you're over specializing, but there was like a back row of motherfuckers with lightsabers and then a bunch of like those actual Sith troopers.
Yeah. No, okay,
like,
so basically the stands are full of the Sith users, the lightsabers, and then the ground when they turned around are full of the troopers.
Yeah,
yes,
kind of like from the first
Sith
movie in a way.
Empire a threat again.
Yeah.
You know, make them when they show up. The audience is supposed to go, "Oh shit, the heroes are totally fucked."
Yeah.
And the thing is, don't kill them. Do not kill them off. When the movie ends, you see someone and he's standing there and goes, Palpatine's dead, and goes, I'm the Emperor.
Well, you can't do that if it's the last. If that was the first or second movie, I would understand that, but you can't do that in a third movie because then you got to have movies to continue that.
Yeah, but you also have to realize it's Disney, and at this time they were planning Disney Plus, so they could have planned an entire universe.
True. No, that's true.
Okay, so to the group, follow me here for a second. So I'll think
follow you to hell, sir.
Don't give me that power because I may lead you there anyway. Okay,
fuck it. I'm destined to go there anyway. So
okay, so I think shackling the Sith Empire to Palpatine was a mistake.
Yes,
yeah, I would agree.
And now, if we had a Sith who came after Palpatine, which they should have fucking done, but Snoke died because he was a clone monster puppet bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it. If Snoke turned out to bring back the Empire, the Sith Empire resurgence, and the reason I call it that because it sounds cool, and B, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Snoke's like, this is the Sith Empire resurgence. And now the galaxy will quake in terror at our wrath.
Yeah.
That line alone should have the audience shitting their pants thinking, oh my God, the heroes will never win. Because the Sith Empire is not a fucking joke.
I mean, even to add to that, Travis, imagine Snoke say that, and it's at the end of the second movie when the Resistance is on their little base, and you don't know how they're going to get off. And as soon as he says that, you just see dozens upon dozens upon dozens of Star Destroyers just exiting hyperspace, surrounding him, and he's just raising his arms as you see the Star Destroyers exiting hyperspace.
Like he's on one of the First Order Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
In these Planet Cracker Star Destroyers just start pouring in by the dozens.
Yeah.
And you're and like,
and what could, but the thing is, and the camera goes on it, and instead of having, the way there's an ISD commander, on each one there's two Sith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're looking out and you're like, oh my God, if each one of those has two Sith, and there's like ones arriving at planets everywhere.
Well, you could have used the idea of one Sith from the extended universe to explain why there were all these Sith that had been fucking brought up.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I used to have this idea going around with my cousin when I talk to him every morning, right? The two of us have been playing with this idea and this Star Wars thing that we're coming up with just for fun. You know the way that there's always a Jedi Empire? So a Sith Empire?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What if Rey looks and she's there and say she's talking with Finn or something? And she's there and she has her hands behind her back, now standing very regal, right? And she's saying, it's like, watch, because I'm technically the most powerful person around. You have the Force. Yes? And he's like, yeah. She goes, okay. The Republic fell because it was led by fools and Puritans. Okay. What about a Jedi Empire? My empire. And it's like, what the fuck?
You're right. You could do that, but it seems like the threads that are there for a conflict of epic proportions, and we're talking a conflict in Star Wars that supersedes the previous movies, because that would make sense.
Yeah.
As far as, okay, you want to up the stakes, you have to create the upper stakes to begin with.
Yeah.
What if? Just play with me here. What if at the end, Rey has copper eyes, right? Her eyes are flickering copper. She's standing by herself looking on an unknown planet everywhere, and you see a stormtrooper walk up and goes, "Milady." She goes, "Wait, the Empire. We start today." He goes, "This will take years." And she goes, "Yes, the child I carry with..." Just wait. It's the child I carry within me will be the first skywalker emperor. Movie goes on, and then you see Finn, and he's in there, and he's like playing with a rock, floating it. They're like, "What is it?" He goes, "We need something." He goes, "I'm trained in Empire stuff." He goes, "Okay, bear with me." He goes, "Because there's no Republic." He goes, "What is it?" He said, "What if I'm the first Jedi Emperor? We get the others. We make a nobility of all lightsiders. The Sith Empire is out there. The only thing that can stand up to them is the Jedi Empire. We need this. And then you just see like Poe kneels on the ground and goes, "I will follow you, my friend." And then you see when they're like, "Is this happening?" And at that moment, Finn is crowned Emperor, and everyone goes on, and it's like there's now a Jedi and a Sith Empire. Boom! They're going to smash in the middle.
Okay, and so you make a good point, and I saw this film in theaters, and my niece was 12 at the time. And you know what?
Yeah.
You know what I leaned over to her, and the beginning of episode 9, I leaned over to my niece, it was me, my niece, and then my sister, and I leaned over to her and said, "What we do? Fast forward to the end of the film?" And she goes, "I know, right?" Okay, so I have the best niece in human history because we spent watching The Rise of Skywalker, making fun of it, and when my sister started like getting emotional and cried, my niece elbows me and says, "Hey, look, Mom's crying." Oh my God, you're so pathetic.
But guys, we're all forgetting something. We know how ruthless the Sith are and how ruthless Sith followers would be.
Yes,
correct?
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah. Let's see. Where's the picture?
Bourbon.
How would they follow him?
Good question.
Oh, okay. So we have basically Palpatine on a fucking respirator, okay?
Yeah. A respirator and what appear to be some kind of IVs.
I mean,
pull the
he's
cord.
basically the cult mechanicus de facto.
He kind of does look like one without the mask.
Yeah.
So he's like, yes, praise the Omnissiah. Wait, wrong universe. Okay. So we have an emperor who is able to reincarnate through cloning and possession, okay?
Yes.
Mhm.
That is a setup for a really strong villain who to the audience would seem nigh unkillable, okay?
Which, if they had done it
Eternal
when the
Emperor
universe
storyline.
did, he would have been.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, Revan said it right. Like the Eternal Emperor fucking storyline.
Yep.
That's a good idea. That is, no matter how much you kill this fuck, no matter what you do to him, he, and to quote Five Nights at Freddy's, he always comes back. So that's a good threat. That's a good villain. One that it's like, God damn it, will you fucking die, you nerd?
You know what could have been cool? If she beheads him and she's like, "He didn't go into me, I won." Then you see some guy walking down and you hear like Martios, and he's there and he's like, "Hey baby," like just some literally random dude, right? Maybe 2022, and he's there and he's
Yes,
what is it?
I'm drinking bourbon.
but then you see him and he coughs and he falls down like for a second, and then he stands back up and it's like, "What is it?" And he's there, he looks and he's there, and his girlfriend's like, "Martino's," and he puts his hand out, force chokes her, and he's like, "Ha, I'm young again. Interesting. I wonder what this name is. Martino's. Last one was Palpatine." And they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah.
Yes. A recurring threat is a good villain.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Palpatine strikes me as the kind of person who would find the way. I don't.
I would actually have it that it's not Palpatine. I would have it that someone had taken Palpatine, like this thing took Martino's. That it's the Eternal Emperor, and the thing is, he is so old.
Okay, now you can't do that because unfortunately Disney's never established.
No,
the
no.
Eternal
I know that, but I'm just saying it's like for context, it's the Eternal Emperor situation. But this one is so old that nobody knows his name, so we give him a new name like the Sith or something like that.
Even then, there'd be issues because without build-up, it just comes across as kind of shoehorned in.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I give it build up. Like we'd see it with Martinez, and then we'd start building up on things.
Well, so I told Revan this a while back. Here's how. So remember in The Last Jedi when they put the call out to the Outer Rim, we have allies and whatnot.
Yeah.
I told Revan this. Imagine, and so let's say Holdo does the hyperspace maneuver. It doesn't work, and the ship explodes before it. Let's say it's a hyperdrive malfunction, whatever. It explodes, doesn't hit the main ship, and then the resistance is like, we're doomed. And then all of a sudden, you see maybe like a dozen ships exit hyperspace, and they're old ships. We're talking back from the original trilogy. And all of a sudden, you hear like this crackly voice over the radio says, "We've answered your call. We're sending shuttles. We'll cover as long as we can." And you just see this slug-it-out fight, and they know they're going to lose ships, but they get the resistance off. They turn tail and exit. And then they're like, "Who are you guys?" We're like, "We are the Rebellion Reborn. Like, we've been in the Outer Rim fighting the First Order this entire time, waiting to hear your call."
And I said
that would have made sense, because then you don't have a ragtag group. You have another formal force. Not
sense. Can I point out Kronos' comment of the Outer Rim job? I don't know why, but I find it funny.
I'm not going to even try and describe what that technique is.
Oh, the Outer Rim job? Oh, that's simple. It's where you get a Wookiee, and you take a razor and you start licking around until you find it.
I don't know why, but fucking Kronos, man, the Outer Rim job. I don't know why. I find that fucking
Kronos.
hard.
We're not going to ban you. We should promote you to mod for that.
I know. Make him a mod. Fucking legend. I drink to you, sir.
Yeah, but that was a big issue I had with the Rise of Skywalker. Is the Resistance was literally, because I think I counted the amount of, like, when they exited everything, they had
You know what? The first let me put this away another way. The first impression I got that this whole thing was fucked, and they turned the Resistance into literally a non-entity, was when they explained in The Force Awakens that Mon Mothma had dissolved the majority of the Republic's fucking, like,
military
senators and shit, and they disbanded the entirety of their military and disarmed.
Yeah,
that was when I knew everything was completely fucked.
Yeah, and that's why I like the thought of that. You have that scene in End of the Last Jedi where you see this ragtag group of old cobbled together fleet, reminiscent of the Rebel Alliance, rescuing the Resistance, and they're like, "We've been fighting the First Order this whole time. We've been using the Rebel hit and run tactics like we did against the Empire." I had again, you have a formal force again.
They should, if they were going to do something with that, despite how dumb the idea was that anybody would do it, they should have had it be basically the military factions of the freaking rebels left the New Republic because of what they did, because they knew it was stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I said this idea to CSA. You see Rey, and she's running on a planet from troopers, right? And she comes across this guy on the ship, and the ship looks weird because we haven't seen this, and this dude's in him, and he's looking, and he's like, "Hi, why are you running?" Like, really confused. It's like, "Oh, I'm an explorer. What's going on? Why?" And she's there, and she's looking, and then you see the troopers come in, and they hold their guns up to him, and it's like, "You're helping the fugitive. I'm fixing my ship." It's like, put those, you don't want to find me, put them away. And it's like, get down on the ground. You're under command of the First Order. And it's like, no. And then you see him using the Force, pulling the guns in, and pulls a lightsaber of a new color and cuts it down. And everyone's like, wait, what? And he's like, are you a Jedi? What's a Jedi? Are you a Sith? What's a Sith? He's from an order from the unknown regions where there's an entire new order after being set up in the unknown regions, and he doesn't know what Jedi or Sith is because he was never brought up knowing what a Jedi or Sith is. To him,
that's a little more difficult because that was kind of widespread knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, if him literally saying he wasn't either would make more sense, but him not knowing is a little harder to believe.
Yeah, I mean,
but the thing is, I'm saying the outer. Like
even in the Outer Rim, though, people knew what a Jedi was.
No, but he's saying the unknown regions because the unknown regions was unexplored.
I don't know. If for the sake of anything making sense, I still think him not knowing anything is still a bad idea.
Yeah,
you could say I'm neither. He's like,
that would be better.
Yeah, I'm neither. Yeah, I'm just kind of like a Force user who just does his merry way, exploring the galaxy and whatnot. I found this lightsaber. I cleaned it up, and I mean, like there's a way you could do that. There's a way.
Yeah, but guys, are we going?
Well, we haven't even gotten to when they
finished.
Let's keep going.
Oh! I still got the fucking battle that we should have gotten. No, I'll.
So we're back in the.
We're going to get to it.
We'll get to it. So we're back in the throne room, and then he sucks the life force from Kylo Ren, who is now Ben Kenobi, right? And not Ben Kenobi, Ben Solo, and he sucks the life force from them, and he's like, "Oh, you're a dyad. Not one of these has been found in the Force in a few millennia. Ooh, you can regrow my body parts because apparently that's a fucking thing now." And then with his new power, he gets supercharged.
Yeah, and
I was laughing the whole time. I'm like, he's in his fucking pajamas.
Yeah, and I told them, I said, what would have been bitching amazing is if Palpatine, he sucks so much of the life out that he regrows himself, so he looks like how he was in Episode 3. Okay, great. What should have happened is he should have done what he did in Episode 3, where these lightsabers come out and he's dual wielding lightsabers, and you get the lightsaber fight, because that's how Palpatine was. Like, remember when Maul and the other guy fought Vader? Fought Palpatine. We should have had a fight like that, where it's like, because here's the thing, it's stupid. You're both wielding lightsabers, and he just sucks the life out of you. Like, there should have been a lightsaber fight that happens, because that's what in Star Wars you typically do. The Sith and the Jedi, they fight with lightsabers typically. We didn't get a fight like that when we should have.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a genuinely good, awe-inspiring fight in so long.
Episode 3 was the last one.
There were a lot of good
lightsaber fights in the shows, but not in the movies.
Yeah,
and we haven't got any good philosophical lines. We haven't got any good theories. We haven't got any good hints or anything like that, or anything. We haven't got stuff that the nerds can literally latch on and go, "Oh, why does this guy do this? Wait, that's a weird way to hold a lightsaber. Why does he hold it like that?" Or something.
Yeah.
But let's go. Keep going.
So the lead up to this is the Resistance is like, well, we got to take whatever we have, and we got to hit the Star Destroyers, which conveniently have an underslung cannon, which I'm going to give you.
They literally all have Death Star cannons.
They have like miniature Death Star cannons. I'm going to give you a quick little backstory on a better way this could have been done. So remember when in the beginning of Episode 3, when you see Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi, they're flying through, and you see like that beam cannon fire from the underside of a Venator. Remember in Episode 2 when they had those massive walkers with the turbo lasers, but in beam form? That's what that actually was. Anakin mounted some of those turbo laser beams in the underslung hangar of the Venators, so he could fire down. What if you had, instead of this just regular underslung, they look like regular Star Destroyers, you see this massive hatch open up, and then the cannon comes out? That would have looked better, because then it's no longer a weak point. You actually have to fight a Star Destroyer now, not just target the cannon.
Yeah. I was saying this. I think I was saying this to CSA. Like, the bridges on Star Trek really annoyed me, and the fact that they're so exposed. Because I was saying, if I was doing a ship, I'd still think hey, it's balloting. Suddenly the bridge starts sinking in, and armor plating goes down over where the bridge was. The bridge is now gone. It is no longer a weak spot.
Yeah. But what pisses me off even more is that when the bullshit fleet that, by the way, cobbled together from around the galaxy in a matter of like 2 to 3 hours and happened to get to this point, by the way.
Managed to get here, which, by the way, they weren't supposed to be able to reach this place without that bullshit.
Yeah.
Which suddenly, magically, an entire massive fleet just shows up
Yeah.
next to the planet we're supposedly
so-
can't navigate through.
Right. So
there's a lot of questions when it comes to
a lot
the
of questions.
Fleet.
But let's just take that, okay? That happens. Massive Fleet shows up. What happened in Return of the Jedi? We got fleet on fleet battle, and they did the best they could with visualizing that back in the early 1980s. You have the chance to dwarf the battle over Coruscant in Episode 3 by a magnitude of 100 here.
And where we get a bunch of quick shots of random fighters blowing shit up on the Star Destroyers by hitting the weak points or getting shot out of the sky. There's nothing major even going on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna admit to this. I'm a huge Wedge Antilles fanboy.
Thank
Are
God
you about to
brought
have
this
a
up.
rant about him being in the gunner's seat?
I am gonna be super pissed about him
I was
being
pissed
in the
too,
gunner's
but you go
seat.
first. You
We
go first.
mentioned that when we were watching it, yeah.
Yeah, you go
Travis,
first,
Okay.
I'm just gonna say
God damn it.
this. I'm just gonna say this one thing first. Please rant.
Okay. Well, my shower curtain just fell down in my bathroom. God damn it! I'm gonna have to fix that later.
I told you, don't hold your victims in the shower, man.
I'm trying not to. But Wedge Antilles was the second best X-Wing pilot next to Luke Skywalker, okay? And Wedge Antilles was treated like shit. And he was flying a Y-Wing, even though I'm the guy who actually has the physical copy of Rogue Squadron in his, in my collection. And Wedge Antilles flew an X-Wing because he was an excellent X-Wing pilot and a good leader.
Yeah.
And they treated Wedge Antilles as a cameo, and I'm like, you fucking assholes.
Isn't Wedge Antilles Hugh McGregor's uncle?
Yeah. Wedge Antilles is a basically, when Luke went off to do his own thing, Wedge Antilles took over Rogue Squadron.
You know what I would have done just for shits and giggles, just for fun? I would have brought back every single living member of the the Star Wars cast, right? Like the voice of Ahsoka, everyone. And for this last movie, and I would have stuck them in Stormtrooper outfits, alien suits, and literally had them all stand together in one thing, and the fans won't notice until everyone turns around and they're like, wait, what? When somebody talks and you hear the voice of someone we're familiar with coming out of us. And it's like,
they kind of did that in The Force Awakens. That stormtrooper who Rey used the Force influence on, that was actually Daniel Craig.
No, what I mean is bring back Star Wars people, like only the Star Wars people. No, not like Daniel Craig.
No, don't do that. Because what we should have gotten was, okay, you bring back Wedge. What you should have done is that the entire fleet comes and you see all these T-65 X-Wings and flying in formation. And you see Wedge in a T-65 and he's there kind of like petting it like it's his favorite thing. He's like, feels good to be back in my old friend.
And he's a big fucking Y-Wings in there too. Because
Y-Wing makes me angry.
Yeah,
but
Wedge should have never been in a Y-Wing ever.
No, you know what we should have got? Seen Wedge.
I was glad to see the Y-Wings because they've been ignoring the fact that they existed for 2 fucking movies.
Yeah.
And they always used mixed unit tactics with their fucking fighters.
Yeah.
But what?
I'm gonna have a drink for my boy Wedge, okay?
I would have liked to see Wedge's reaction.
Do a double for me.
I would have liked to see Wedge's reaction to seeing that Luke Skywalker's dead.
Because Wedge Antilles, because I'm the dude who collected the omnibus of the X-Wing Rogue Squadron graphic novel series. And I have that book somewhere in storage. And Wedge Antilles is my favorite character in the Star Wars lore because it proves that a normal man can lead the greatest rebellion fighter wing to victory no matter what. But Wedge Antilles shows up in The Rise of Skywalker, and I went, "Oh my god, it's my boy Wedge!" And they gave him such a fucking shit intro.
Yeah.
And he was in episode 7. Okay, when Poe was talking to the one guy for the rebellion, that was Wedge Antilles. And
Wedge
Antilles. You're right. Yes,
but Wedge was good friends with Luke, and the thing is, we should have seen.
Kurt heard that thought right away, because the whole issue with Luke's death is that nobody that should have been there was there.
No, but it's not even being there. It's the fact that finding out.
Well, that's what I mean. Nobody ever really reacted.
Mm-hmm.
Did they even react the way they should have?
Well, I mean, the only one you could see actually being happy is Leia, who kind of understands what happens.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But Chewie should have screeched the house.
Yeah. Autistic screeching. Hooray.
Yeah.
Chewie's
but nobody's deaths. None of the original characters' deaths in this trilogy were handled properly in any way.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean, even with Leia, it was like the only genuine reaction we got was from Chewie.
Yeah.
That was like in that moment, I actually felt emotion when you see Chewie. He's shoving everybody away. He's screaming. He's like punching the air. He's slamming the ground. That was the only time in this whole movie I actually felt emotion, because I was going all the way back to episode 1 when he says, "Would somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?" all the way till. Yeah, it's like you have these memories and emotions from the original trilogy that carry on, and you feel it.
And that's the thing is you remember those things because Chewie was treated like an actual character. He wasn't treated as a reference.
Yeah.
And question, guys, where the fuck were all the Wookiees?
That's a good question, Revan.
We've seen
loads
of races, but we've never seen another Wookiee.
Well, here, and you may have picked up on this, there's been a real distinct, let's say, downgrade in the number of aliens in Star Wars.
I don't know why.
I don't either, other than the fact that their lazy asses didn't want to deal with the effects and the makeup.
Do you notice one of the most common races canonically, one of the most popular?
The fact that there's no Twi'leks anywhere.
Yep. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because the females dress sexy because it's part of their religion, part of their culture, part of who they are, right?
Kathleen Kennedy didn't like them.
You can't have that if you're a feminist.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No. We should have at least seen a Twi'lek. I'm not saying we see hundreds of them. We should have seen at least a Twi'lek. I mean, there's again, and this goes where, I mean, for fuck's sake, we got a alien that was the engineer on the Millennium Falcon with no arms who looked like a penis. So what happens when he gets excited? Does he get hard? I mean,
he fucking injects shit all over the bridge.
You fucking cracked up when Finn went over him and started rubbing him on the neck.
What about Nia Nub? I mean, what about him?
He was okay.
Why
he actually
the Millennium Falcon with
he appeared once.
Lando.
And if it technically so he wasn't shown, but he was actually the one piloting the CR-90 we saw in Rise of Skywalker, even though we never actually saw him. Yeah. If you read the written story, he's actually aboard that, which by the way,
you know what? That doesn't fucking count.
It doesn't count because why would he be piloting that instead of in a fighter?
Yeah, and my other bitch is, I know we're shooting way ahead. We haven't covered the stupid final battle yet. But my other bitch is that Lando is back.
Yeah.
Like, we established Lando is back. And Chewie's still around. How the fuck did Rey take the Falcon when she left? That belongs to Lando.
God. It belongs. Yeah.
Lando Calrissian is the sexiest man in Star Wars.
That man just looks at a woman and she starts quivering. I mean,
I know, right?
he is the OG player in sci-fi. I mean,
Don't hate the game
on that
the
chick
player,
like
and let's
less
face
than
it,
half his age, man.
well, there's that, but I mean, again, but it goes into the whole Lando thing where when Leia falls for him within 10 seconds of meeting him.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like,
and I'm like, even at his age, he's like sitting there flirting with that freaking chick at the very end of the movie, and she just starts smiling.
well, she needed a sugar daddy, so you know.
Okay, so CSA, do you remember how in like Billy D. Williams was voted like what is it, Time People's 10 most sexiest men on the planet?
Back in the day, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he was
like. Do you remember seeing Red Letter Media's talk about Star Wars, the Last Skywalker, and he goes, "Where are the black people?" And you're sitting there going, it's Billy D. Williams. Women have dropped their panties for that motherfucker.
I mean, God. I mean,
don't you mean gay motherfucker? Because Billy D. Williams is non-binary now.
Oh, fuck
Billy D. Williams will do whatever.
Straight up admitted he didn't even know what the fuck that shit means.
Yeah, I read that article. He didn't know what it means. But I mean, again,
what they were talking about.
I knew
Williams was the original OG pimp of Star Wars.
He was.
Changed my mind.
I mean, I heard somebody joke around like, because they're like, well, look at you, a general, huh? Yeah, somebody must have heard about my little maneuver in the Battle of Tanaan, and I heard somebody say, yeah, that was some battle you had with Mon Mothma, huh? Yeah.
You're right. See,
but guys, let's move on towards the end with this.
Yeah, let's get this shit over with because this final battle is bullshit.
God,
we know that the Rebel fleet shows up, and I say Rebel, but that's not really a good phrase for it.
It's more like a scrap fleet.
It's people.
Yeah,
it's basically Antifa, the movement.
Oh God, that's right. You heard it, folks. Antifa was in Star Wars.
Is what it was. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's just a bunch of fucking scrub asses with a bunch of junk ships and like cast-offs.
Now, in Star Wars, that's not exactly a new thing because the Rebel Alliance was junk fleet. It was crap they could get, steal, or build on their own.
Yeah.
But this fleet in episode, was it 9?
9.
Yes.
Okay, in episode 9, this fleet came out of literally nowhere because they're like, General Calrissian, we need help.
Guys, do you know where this
I
is
know
stolen
people.
From? Do you know where this is stolen from? This exact scene, I know where it's stolen from.
Okay.
Doctor Who.
You're right.
There is for those of you who don't know, there is a scene during Matt Smith's 11th run. Where the doctor,
I didn't like Matt Smith, so I didn't see that episode.
I don't remember it.
And listen, and I will educate you.
Sure, as soon as you learn how to say that word.
Educate.
I got to learn education in the 6th grade.
Anyways.
Learn me some book learning?
So the doctor, throughout Matt Smith's run, had seen all these people throughout time. And Matt Smith, in A Good Man Goes to War, Matt Smith was there and he's like, I'm going to fight all these guys. I'll probably die, but I'm going to get a baby and get the baby back. And then you hear on his ears, like, Danny boy down. And he's like, what? It's like, doctor, I came and I brought friends. And then you see,
I know exactly which one you're talking about now.
And they say, doctor, it says, doctor, do you think that your life had no impact that these people would not come fight and die for you? And then you see like hundreds of ships coming out of nowhere and go, that's what it is. Except in this case, it made sense because someone's like, the doctor's going to die. He needs your help.
Yes.
I mean, and even if you look at some of these ships, they were antiques even by the time of a fucking Rebels when they show them. Yeah. They were antiques. It's even said these are antiques.
Common Sense America. Remember when you were like, "Hey, do you remember the Y-wings they brought out?" And like, I spent 2 hours ranting against the Y-Wings. You remember that?
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so for the audience, I was super fucking drunk when I got back from watching episode 9 in theaters. I drank so much whiskey that on the Common Man cast, I sounded like Jabba the Hutt.
Yes.
He drank so much whiskey that the Irish government issued him a passport.
Yeah, no kidding. He's right. Because I drank so much whiskey for watching episode 9 that I sounded like Jabba the Hutt when I started, and by the time I
look like Jabba the Hutt.
I was sober. That's how long that stream went on.
Yeah, that went on.
Guys, we're nearly at the end of the movie, and we're nearly at 2 hours. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's wrap it up. Okay,
so
let
me. So they get to this fucking shit with this bullshit ramshackle fleet that they pulled out of their fucking cosmic asshole. And there's this whole bit where they're like, okay, well, the Star Destroyers are in this fucking... Because, again, even though all these ships just got here, they bring up how the atmosphere is all fucked up and it's hard to navigate, even though they got here with no fucking trouble.
Oh, don't forget when they were going there. It looked like they were traveling through hell.
If you're going to let me finish this, let me finish it.
Sorry.
So they're talking about they can't navigate because of the fucking atmosphere, so they have to rely on this fucking thing they have down on the surface, which basically transmits a signal that lets them fucking find their way through this bullshit.
Wait, are you talking about the navigation?
Yes, the navigational beacon.
Okay, so for those of you in the chat, the navigation beacon is how you navigate off this world without crashing.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, you can't tell which way is straight up.
Even though you see one of them earlier in the movie destroying a planet, how the fuck did it get? Oh God,
who fucking knows?
Yeah.
But anyway,
anyways,
so they raise up using this beacon, and the rebels are okay. We're gonna send a ground team down there to destroy the beacon on the ground, so they don't have any means to do it. So blah blah blah. They go to do that, only to find out that General Pride, and yes, I do remember his fucking name because it's stupid. General Pride has another beacon mounted on his flagship. So he just activates that one instead. So they're like, oh, fuck. We got to go board that ship and take out that beacon so we can disable the navigation. So they go down to this fucking thing, basically onto the hull of this fucking Star Destroyer. And there's this whole thing where like, oh, shit, we don't have enough people. And, the new Sith troopers show up who sadly got no screen time, but for a couple of seconds here and there where they looked pretty badass because they were kicking their asses. But that's all you see of them. But anyway, there's this dumbass scene where the goofy bitch from the planet they came from, where they found the Death Star, which we glossed over because it was stupid as fuck and involved it involved an ancient dagger being the way to find where the Death Star crashed. That's so stupid, I'm not even going to bother with it.
Don't trust me. You're not okay. People in the chat, let me tell you something. You are not missing anything by seeing this film because, let's face it, you are being lied to.
And treated like you're an idiot.
It's technically not even a film.
They said a knife, a fucking knife with a fucking what is it? An asterisk?
Yeah. No, it's a knife with a compass on it.
Is that a little compass?
That's a compass.
Yeah.
So a knife with a compass said that we know how to read the Death Star because this knife was made when the Death Star crashed it indoors. So who was the autist who came up with that?
Well, here's the dumber thing.
The
dumber thing, Travis, is their claim is that this is an ancient Sith knife.
Yeah, it's an ancient Sith knife.
That's what made it dumber. Like, this is an ancient Sith knife that will point the way to blah, blah, blah. And it turns out what it is it points out where the Death Star, something that didn't exist when this knife was crafted, had crashed.
Yep.
Emperor, please protect me.
Emperor
of mankind, please protect me because I can't handle it.
I said to you guys, whilst we were watching it. Like I said, that big piece hits down. I said, how is this land that they're standing on?
Oh, there's no understanding why that planet didn't just have a complete like environmental upheaval when that massive chunk of moon landed on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that stupidity aside, they go down there and this goofy broad they met when they were on that planet finding the Death Star shows up with a cavalry contingent. And when I say cavalry, I mean literal fucking space horses.
For Rohan!
These motherfuckers come busting out of these drop ships on fucking horseback. And the dude on the bridge, the dude on Pride's bridge is like, he's like, they activate some electromagnetic bullshit to disrupt the speeders. Like, they don't have speeders, sir. And it shows all these fucking horses run across, and the motherfuckers on the bridge are acting all aghast, like they have no idea what to do. And I'm sitting there going, pitch the ship to the left, asshole.
Who
You're going to dump these motherfuckers. You're going to pitch the ship to the left.
Off the side.
You're just going to like scrape them off like a mosquito on the windshield.
Yeah, I started singing, spin the ship, spin the ship, spin the ship.
It's like, motherfucker, just pitch the ship hard left. They're fucking horses. They're going to slide right off.
Wait, do you remember?
Pull up that photo again, Resin, by the way. Pull up that photo. I want to point out something.
Go ahead.
Okay, those are turbo laser batteries that
like,
they're riding by.
I get it. You might do some damage to the hull, but one turbo laser blast is going to take out the majority of their cavalry.
I mean,
here.
imagine the gunner. He's like, sir, we got horses. What do you mean? We got horses. They're riding right by me right now. Do I shoot them? Shoot the ships, sir. I could kill them all right now.
Yeah.
Shoot the ships.
Like,
Okay.
Guys, are you missing
the
the
laser
other
might damage the hull slightly, but there will not be any cavalry left.
Guys, are you noticing the other big glowing problem that they have? The trees ion engines pointing directly at them.
Yeah, I know, because like I said, none of this battle made any sense. Not the fleet arrangement, not the tactics, and not the fucking anything. Nothing made sense in this scene.
How about the chick who had the bow and arrow, who pulled like a Legolas and wasn't looking and shot the jet trooper out of the
This
sky?
character was such bullshit. Fucking bow and arrow.
Well,
Got it.
for those of you at home, this is the point in Star Wars Episode 9 where we know fully that shit doesn't matter because they are able to destroy Star Destroyers with, and they make a point of this, of the Star Destroyers who are able to destroy a planet. And the Star Destroyer was a big deal, but they gave that power to a single Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
And
like, why did you have multiple beacons on these ships?
I don't know. I wish I could answer you, Farvithia, but I can't. Because the problem is that they had, and I repeat, they had to up the ante to, oh my God, a Star Destroyer could destroy a planet. And when you think of the word Star Destroyer, it's like, oh my God, these things are dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. One time I said at Comic-Con, why are they called Star Destroyers? We've never seen them destroying a star.
Okay, so the people who started writing after the original series decided that a Star Destroyer should, and it's not the fact that they would hold the power to destroy an actual star. Like, the Star Destroyer has the ability to actually destroy the star, but in Star Wars lore, the Star Destroyer doesn't have that power. I know it sounds weird.
I honestly think the Empire did it to kind of like, the whole freaking fear, instilling fear.
It's the usual evil monarchy with the things like in Avatar. There's the dragon. There's the Horned Dragon class battleship.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's like,
I would say default to potato Revan on this one because to be honest with you, I've been drinking whiskey, drinking bourbon, and
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you would completely and utterly be able to drive right now.
Okay, so let me tell it to you like this. Okay, so you have a Star Destroyer, and it actually can't destroy the star. But imagine if all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Sith said, "Hey, this Star Destroyer can actually blow up a star by itself." That's where we are in episode 9.
But Farf, will we skip to the end, buddy, before Travis starts?
Oh, have fun with the last fucking lightsaber quote unquote battle and Palpatine's death because I ain't touching this shit.
Okay, so basically what happens is that they try and make a move on Palpatine. He force blasts them back, and Rey takes her lightsaber and tries to go after him, and he does his whole force lightning, okay? And she's pulling an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, we've seen it before, no big deal. Well, then she puts her hand behind her back and force grabs the other lightsaber and does power of the
after Kylo Ren got launched off the platform.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, as your grandfather threw me all those years ago, so I took the last Skywalker.
Yeah. So she basically takes the lightsabers and just absorbs the force lightning, and then somehow impulses. It looks like something at Dragon Ball Z, by the way. Basically, you see it impulses. Does the force lightning back at him, and he's like, oh my god, and then she gets right up in his face and starts reflecting it back at him like in episode 3, except this time the motherfucker starts dissolving like the guy out of I think it was
Harry
Raiders
Potter.
of the Lost Ark.
No, Harry Potter, he literally dissolves the same way as Harry Potter.
Fuck Harry
and Voldemort. Fuck you, bitch.
Oh, fuck you, bitch.
So
if you have the money.
There's a key line in the movie where God. There's a key line in the
too much. Leave me alone.
Travis, have another one on me.
He's going for you, CSA. I drank this last shot for you.
Last shot.
You were saying.
So there's a line that Palpatine says basically where he says, strike me down and all the Sith will be inside you and you will take over as head of the Sith. So who's the person who kills Palpatine? Rey. But Rey, right as she's beginning to start reflecting back the Force lightning, says, I am all the Jedi. So now she is all the Jedi and all the Sith. What happens inside of her? Do you see these like little red blood cells that look like Sith and Jedi? They're just battling now. I mean,
like a scene from the Fantastic Voyage in there.
Seriously, it looked like inner space in there, except with lightsabers. So like she does it, then all of a sudden there's this massive like energy wave. It kills all these people. By the way,
she committed genocide.
You see all the Star Destroyers falling down because the magical weak spot's been hit.
Shockwave of
and then we get something even better. We see first order Star Destroyers starting to be just falling out of the sky in flames. By the way, there were no ships around these Star Destroyers, so it makes no sense why they're falling in flames. But the best scene in the whole fucking godforsaken movie is over Endor, where we see again the fucking Holdo maneuver. And if you think I'm kidding,
no, hold on.
Please tell me you have that.
Hold on,
please tell me you have that.
Fuck.
Endor and Star Wars.
Oh, I shit you not. Because
I see the fucking ticker on the bottom of the screen. Oh shit, Travis is muted.
He's muted. Oh my god.
I have it.
Okay, pull it up.
Yeah, I'm just uploading it now.
I know. This.
Fuck
Okay,
that shit
so
right there. Fuck
that
that.
you see that line where a ship, and notice the explosion is similar to how it was in The Last Jedi. Somebody took a ship and hyperspace rammed a first order
And this
Star
is the
Destroyer.
second reference to this dumb bullshit in this movie. Because earlier in the movie, somebody suggests it, and they're like, no, that was like 1 in a million. And then some motherfucker did it anyway, apparently.
So, yeah, somebody did. Somebody's like, hey, $20 says you can't do that Star Destroyer with a hyperspace ram. Hold my beer.
Fucking Jesus. All right, so let's get to the final insult on the entirety of fucking Star Wars, and that's the little epilogue scene. And then fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So,
all right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I am super fucking drunk.
Yeah, you
We
are.
noticed the ticker.
Oh, thanks, guys. I love you too. Okay, so when we get to the last scene in Star Wars Episode 9, we see Rey take on the Knights of Ren.
No, it wasn't Rey. It was Kylo.
Right? No,
We covered that part already.
Yeah, cover. No, we're going past to the very end.
We're at the very end.
Okay, so
where Emperor Palpatine is revealed as the big bad, and Rey has to stand up against Emperor Palpatine.
We already did that.
we did that, man.
We're talking on Tatooine.
We're
on
literally on the
Tatooine
part
now.
afterwards where she stole all Luke's shit.
Fuck. I've been drinking too much. Leave it alone.
If I had whiskey, I'd be drunk with you.
Just we can get it over with.
Okay, so basically, Rey dies.
I wish.
I know, right?
Well, technically, she died for a minute, and then they fucking empowered the shippers, where Kylo Ren puts his hand over her womb, and his
somehow
hand glows.
He's got this ability now.
He has this ability where he puts his life force directly into her womb, and she comes back to life. She touches her stomach. She smiles. He dies, fades away, becomes a Force ghost. E.g., congratulations. Your ego is prego. Congratulations.
Which I thought of Vegeta the entire time.
Red's baby.
I seriously thought of Vegeta when Trunks, young Trunks, he turns Super Saiyan. And he's like, "What? Are Super Saiyans not as rare as I thought they once was? Can any Saiyan now become a Super Saiyan?" Like that's all I had in mind.
You're not
okay. So let's get to the end of it.
In absence of any fucking logic or continuity, with Lando present. Apparently, while Lando was macking on the chick from the other planet, she steals the fucking Falcon and leaves with it because that's Lando's ship, but whatever. Yeah. She goes back to fucking Tatooine to fucking to Lars and Beru to their farm, their moisture farm.
Yeah.
And she just fucking decides that's her home now. Arbitrarily.
I live here now.
She goes there, puts the Falcon there. She fucking digs this bullshit hole with Force powers and buries Luke and Leia's lightsabers in it.
Did she forget how physics work?
Apparently. So did the movie, so fuck it. For whatever god of reason, rather than take these somewhere where they could be preserved and respected, she buries them in the fucking ground on Tatooine and starts moving into their fucking moisture farm. This woman comes up. She's like, "Who are you?" She's like, "I'm Rey." And the woman's like, "Rey who?" And she sits there for a minute and she's like, "Rey Skywalker." And I'm like, "Bitch, fuck you.
Beyond
you're a Skywalker."
And that is
where it ends.
That's where it ends. But something I found really funny is that her new blade is yellow, which where she got the kyber crystal, I don't know.
Yeah,
but how she ignites
crystal?
No, canonically, it's half of Luke's crystal and half of Leia's crystal. Half green.
Oh God,
that's
So, but what I found funny is the way she activates it. Typical lightsabers, there's a button. Hers is a little ring near the actual blade emitter that she rotates to activate it. What happens if she accidentally bumps something? She's cutting her fucking foot off.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. But it's just as dumb as some of the other ones we've seen.
Yeah. God. So far, do you want to plug yourself and then I plug the guys who aren't here?
Yeah, I've started a fucking channel. It's mostly bullshit while I try to fight with fucking Streamlabs and shit to get my audio balanced properly. But it's some retro and some non-retro gaming playthrough shit. I'm mostly just doing streams right now till I learn this other shit. But it's
Can I try and plug you better?
If you want.
So, guys, if any of you in the audience are interested in retro games from the mid 2000s to the 90s, maybe even some arcade games, I would seriously just consider going into the description and getting Favre's YouTube channel, where you'll have great fun. Because if you like him, you'll see more of him there, and he swears a lot more.
He sounds like a 1920s gangster. So imagine that playing old school arcade games.
Y'all gotta quit that shit.
So, well, you are a werewolf. So, guys, if anyone watching this or is in the audience, if you're interested in Guild Wars, then Armchair Warlord and Katala are two other legionaries who are not here. They have started up their own channel called Katala Laris, who's also in the description. Where every now and then, when she in the mornings and late night in America, she streams Guild Wars. I'm
seriously also going to have her just start streaming our normal Guild Wars shit on Thursday on that channel.
I was talking with Revan about that earlier today.
Yeah. So I would go there, subscribe to her. She is a drastically under-subscribed channel. So is Favre. Actually, there is a competition going on. For those of you who go over and you like and subscribe to Favre's channel, you get a special surprise. So... If for those of you who like books and have the ability to read, then Armchair Warlord has actually wrote his own book. The link is in the description. If you guys want to help out a vet, you can go buy his book, give him money. It's actually the Kindle version is actually on sale for $5.99. And
I gotta finish mine and figure out how to get that motherfucker published.
Support Armchair Warlord.
Yeah, support Armchair Warlord. He's a vet. He needs a toupee.
I'm telling him you said that, motherfucker.
Oh yeah. Give him tell him to go and watch the 206 and listen. It's like for every donation of the book.
I'm doing that. Actually, I might message him right now.
Hold on. Wait. If I'm going to get my ass kicked, I'm going to get a kick for a right reason. Okay. For every purchase of the book, for $20, Armchair gets that bit closer to a hair transplant operation.
Oh, fucking
ouch, man!
You're a dead man.
What an asshole!
Dead man.
Love you.
Fucking hell!
But for seriously, guys, for those of you who are American, who if you want to help out a vet and help things like that, Armchair is there, and if you want to pay that a little bit more, you can actually get a autographed copy from it. So that is Armchair, and then Favre here learned how to read and write, and
I could read since I was like 10 years old. Fuck off.
Since you were 10, only 10.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, I had fucking problems. My mom had to force me to do it initially.
I'm only messing. So, guys, go over, like, and subscribe to those guys. And thank you all for watching. I've been Potato Revan, and these have been the Legionnaires. And I'm going to love you and leave you. And goodbye, guys.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, later.